Preparing data for fine-tuning starts with building a high-quality dataset that helps an AI support agent learn and generalize well. First, focus on curating relevant email data for classification. Then convert the text labels into a numerical format the model can use, and split everything into training, validation, and testing. Start with your own inbox. If you already use labels or folders, choose a few hundred emails across about 3 to 4 categories that you want the model to learn. If the email is not already categorized, manually pick a representative sample and assign one simple, consistent label to each message. Aim for at least 50 to 100 emails. The code is in part 4 in the notebook named 01 dataset.ipend. Install the listed dependencies with pip install our requirements.txt after setting up a Python virtual environment. The code with Jupyter Notebooks are used here because data preparation and fine-tuning are highly iterative and experimental. That makes notebooks a practical choice for this work, since the process changes as you test and refine it. A notebook lets you run code in small cells. You can load the data once, then clean and transform it step by step while seeing results immediately. This supports a code run check workflow where you build, test, and document the process in one place. Jupyter Notebooks use the .ipend extension. Next comes gathering the raw data. Instead of copying hundreds of emails by hand, automate the collection. Most email providers offer developer tools or APIs, and with their documentation, you can write a program that extracts. For this fine-tuning exercise, build a dataset from a personal email inbox. Select about 100 emails for each category the model should learn. Then, narrow the many inbox labels down. One class is IN_bank, representing bank emails from India. Another class is IN_school, representing school emails from India. A third class is US_bank, representing bank emails from the United States. The fourth class is US_school, representing school emails from the United States. These labels reflect a real-world case, an inbox from someone who recently moved to the United States. That makes geographic origin part of the task, so the model learns not. This is only one example. In your own dataset, choose labels that are meaningful for your email and the classification task you want the support agent to perform. The process. Next, structure the raw data before training. Save the selected email and organize the dataset into separate files, with one file dedicated to all emails belonging to a single label. One file is in_bank.csv. Another file is in_school.csv. A third file is us_bank.csv. The file us_school.csv is one of the prepared data files used for this task. Each email is organized into 2 columns, one for the text and one for the label. The text field holds the summary that Gmail generated automatically for the message. The label field stores the category you assign to that email. You do not have to use the automatically generated summary. If your email provider does not offer one, or if you want a different summary, you can create it from Next. The labels need to be encoded as numbers. ML models process numerical data, so text labels must be converted into unique numerical IDs. That keeps the labels usable by the model in the same way tokenization turns text string labels are converted, because training uses mathematical operations that require numbers. This makes the data compatible, improves efficiency, avoids false relationships between labels, and keeps the format consistent across the labels are assigned IDs in a fixed mapping. IN_bank gets 0, IN_school gets 1, US_bank gets 2, and US_school gets 3. The only essential rule is that each label has a unique number. Keep the mapping from number to text label, because you will need it later to interpret predictions correctly. After encoding the labels, the next step is splitting the data. To train a model well and judge how it will perform on new data, use only part of the dataset for learning. If the model sees everything, it can memorize examples instead of learning general patterns, which is overfitting. So first randomize the data, then split it into 3 sets. The training dataset is the main portion of the data. It is used directly to teach the model, And this is where the core learning happens as the model adjusts to the task. The validation dataset is used during training. It acts like a practice quiz on data the model has not specifically trained on, so you can monitor learning, adjust the training process, and choose the best point to stop. The testing dataset stays completely separate until training is finished. It gives a final, unbiased evaluation because the model has not seen it during training or validation. So its performance here is the most realistic measure of how it will work on completely new email. A good split is October 10th, 80. Use 80% of the data for training, 10% for validation, and 10% for testing. For each file, follow the same basic steps. First, shuffle or randomize the records in the files. Next, split the data in each file using the October 10th, 80 ratio. Then save the data into separate files, using names that include train, validate, and test, such as train__bank, CSV, validate_bank, CSV, and test_bank.csv. This code loads a CSV file, removes the header row, shuffles the rows, and splits them into training, testing, and validation sets. First, the code imports CSV and random, then sets a fixed random seed, so the shuffle is repeatable. Next, it reads every row from the CSV file, removes the header, and shuffles the remaining data. Finally, it splits the rows into 80% training data, 10% testing data, and 10% validation data. The data is read from a CSV file, randomized, and divided into 3 sets: training, validation, and testing. Shuffling prevents the model from learning patterns that come only from the order of examples, helping it focus on the data itself and generalize better to new examples. After splitting 4 original CSV files, there are 12 files in total. Fine-tuning usually expects just 3 files, 1 for training, 1 for validation, and 1 for testing. Before fine-tuning, each split type needs to be merged into a single file. That means combining all training datasets into one train file, all validation datasets into one validate file, and all testing datasets into one test file, then shuffling each combined set. First, read the data from all 4 files. Next, combine them into a single set. Then use random.shuffle to randomize the combined data. Finally, save the shuffled data into a CSV file. After doing this for all 3 data types, the new dataset contains train.csv, validate.csv, and test.csv. These are the files used in the next steps. Next, the data is prepared technically with specialized libraries. A labeled dataset needs more than rows and columns. It also needs metadata that keeps the data clear, consistent, and reusable. A plain CSV or SONL file is fine for immediate training use, but sharing or reusing it later can create problems because important dataset details are not preserved. The main loss is metadata about the data itself. Column types and allowed values disappear, so a receiver may not know the text column is a string or that the dataset can be recreated with Hugging Face datasets, so it becomes self-describing. The process combines the label files into one collection, shuffles the combined data, and then splits it first, load the raw CSV files as a dataset, and inspect the metadata. Start by loading the CSV file into a dataset object, then print it to see what structure and features it contains. Loading the CSV creates a dataset dict. Inside it is a trained dataset with 2 features, text and label. It contains 100 rows. That tells you the object is a dataset dict. It has 1 train split. The features are text and label, and the dataset has 100 records. The column headers automatically become dataset features. A feature is a distinguishable property or characteristic of the data, and here the 2 features are text and label. By default, loaded data is tagged as train. To prepare it properly, split it into train, validate, and test sets using an October 10th, 80 ratio. After loading the data, the next step is to create the train, validate, and test datasets. Before splitting, shuffle the dataset. Shuffling randomizes the order, helps mix the examples, and prevents the original order from adding bias or unintended patterns to the model. Shuffling randomly rearranges the examples in a dataset. The original order is lost, and each shuffle can produce a different arrangement. An optional seed makes the shuffle repeatable. With the same seed, the code produces the same random order each time, which supports reproducibility. The dataset's library includes train_test_split, a convenient function for dividing one dataset into two random subsets, training and testing. To create training, validation, and testing splits, use train_test_split in two stages. First, split the main dataset into a primary training set and a temporary set. Then split that temporary. First, the training split is divided with train_test_split using a test size of 0.2, shuffling enabled, and seed 42. Then the temporary test split is split again with test size. Repeat the same splitting process for the remaining datasets. Combining the datasets, the separate datasets for each label need to be consolidated into one dataset file. Standard fine-tuning tools are usually built to work with one primary dataset file, which simplifies training. After combining the data, shuffle the entire dataset. That mixes examples from all categories throughout training, prevents the model from following the original order or grouping, and helps it learn. The combined training set is built by concatenating the train splits from the four datasets, then shuffling with seed 42. The validation and test datasets are created separately, and all. After these preparation steps, the data is organized into a single dataset dict. It holds the train, validation, and test splits as distinct collections, each ready for its role in fine-tuning. Printing the dataset shows the result of the preparation steps. The combined dataset is split into three parts: training, validation, and test. The training set has 320 rows, and the validation and test sets each have 40 rows. Each split. Next, save the dataset to disk so it can be reused later without rebuilding it from scratch. Use save_to_disk with the path /data/mail_dataset. That writes the combined dataset into a local folder for later loading. Once saved, the dataset becomes a local checkpoint. That means the expensive collection and shuffling steps do not need to run again every time training starts. The next step is now verify the saved dataset by loading it back and checking its properties. Load the dataset from disk and inspect what comes back. Import load_from_disk, then load the dataset from /data/mail_dataset. Printing it shows a dataset dict with train, validation, and test splits. After loading, the row counts are 335, 42, and 43, and the loaded dataset matches what was saved, so the reload worked correctly. Now inspect the training split directly. The training features show text as a string and label as a string. That means the label column is still stored as plain string data. A plain string works, but it is better to constrain the label to the allowed class values: IN_bank, IN_school, US_bank, and US_school. Defining the label column explicitly adds clarity and type safety. It tells you this field is a class tag, not a generic string, which helps prevent accidental misuse. It also fixed the label by defining the label names first, then matching each name to a numeric ID. Start by creating the label set and the mapping dictionary that assigns each label a stable ID. The label names are listed in order, and the dictionary maps IN_bank to 0, IN_school to 1, US_bank to 2, and US_school to 3. Next, cast the label column so the program treats it as a structured class label instead of a generic field. Casting alone does not change the store numbers, so use class label with the label names, then align the label column with the mapping so the dataset and the dictionary agree on every ID. After that, save the dataset to disk, load it again, and inspect the features to confirm the label column is stored correctly. When you reload it, the label feature appears as a class label with the 4 names in the same order. At this point, the dataset is properly formatted for fine-tuning. Summary: the key steps are building a high-quality dataset, Choosing labels that fit the task, converting text labels into numeric IDs, and splitting the data into training, validation, and testing sets. With Hugging Face datasets, you can load CSV files, shuffle and split them, combine them into a dataset dict, cast the label column, and align it with the numeric mapping for the result is a self-describing dataset ready to feed into training for model fine-tuning. Exercises start by choosing one specific scenario, such as technical support or real estate. Then gather samples from multiple categories. Load those samples into a dataset, shuffle them, and split them. Next, practice a different file format by creating a SONL file. Put one JSON object on each line and include text and label keys in every object.